Folks, in the coming month, I expect to be talking to you about a whole lot of issues, and I'll always be direct with you. But today I want to talk about gestures of support and encouragement that I've made to women and some men that have made them uncomfortable. And I always tried to be, in my career, I've always tried to make a human connection. That's my responsibility, I think. I shake hands, I hug people, I grab men and women by the shoulders and say, you can do this. And whether they're women, men, young, old, it's the way I've always been. It's the way I've tried to show I care about them and I'm listening. And over the years, knowing what I've been through, the things that I've faced, I've found that scores, if not hundreds of people have come up to me and reached out for solace and comfort, something, anything that may help them get through the tragedy they're going through. And so it's just who I am. And I've never thought of politics as cold and antiseptic. I've always thought it about connecting with people. As I said, shaking hands, hands on the shoulder, a hug, encouragement. And now it's all about taking selfies together. Social norms have begun to change. They've shifted. And the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset. And I get it. I hear what they're saying. I understand it. And I'll be much more mindful. That's my responsibility, and I'll meet it. But I'll always believe governing, quite frankly, life for that matter, is about connecting with people. That won't change, but I will be more mindful and respectful of people's personal space. And that's a good thing. I work my whole life to empower women. I've worked my whole life to prevent abuse. I've written, and so the idea that I can adjust to the fact that personal space is important, more important than it's ever been, is just not thinkable. I will.
Well, he's not wrong, as Politico point out, that he has helped create the culture that he is currently being a target of. And let's be honest, Joe, you've got a pretty grim history in the public eye of touching people. I mean, this has been a meme for the Republicans for like a decade or something. This is old news that Joe Biden is weird and touchy-feely and has a habit of sniffing people in public, like in the Senate. Like, it's the strangest thing how openly pervy Joe Biden seems to be. But yeah, Politico are completely correct that Biden has created this. And like half a dozen women now have come out and said, well, Joe Biden made me uncomfortable. Like this woman where he's basically going to start touching her ass before her husband intervenes and things like this. But this is exactly what Joe Biden has always been like. Like in one of his early acts is in 2009, his new position under his aegis, White House advisor on violence against women. Addressing violence against women has been career defining for Biden. I mean, he did come out and say, look, when a woman says that someone touched them inappropriately, we should believe them. And you know what, Biden? I believe women. I just believe them. I'm just feeling the need to believe them right now for some reason. You've converted me with your message. You've converted me. I am a convert. Oh, this is just, it's too priceless that a champion of women is suddenly being attacked by the very people, and not just women, it's not right-wing women doing this, it's Democrat women who are taking advantage of this and now finally saying, well, hang on, Biden's going for president. Suddenly I have a problem with all that touching. Didn't have a problem with it yesterday before he announced he was going to be running for president, but now it's kind of weird. And the thing is, right, this couldn't be better for Trump. Absolutely let the Democrats tar, feather, and crucify him over his weird perviness towards women. Let him do it. Let him do it, because he is easily the most likely and most credible Democrat outside of the sort of Cortez faction. He's the guy that the public know because he's been around for decades and have a good sort of trust in because he was Obama's VP. And they had a bromance and everyone loved it. And so he's the one that is actually the most threatening to Trump. So yeah, let him get screwed. I mean, like he's the guy who put in Title IX in universities. So, as he said here, we need a fundamental change in our culture, and the quickest way to change culture is to change it at the campuses of America. He pushed this. He wanted this. You believe women. That's what you do. You don't question, you don't second guess, you just believe women when they come forward. This has been Biden's message for the last 6 years. You just do it. And so, I mean, Politico have gone really all out here. Really gone all out here, actually. So yeah, basically it's not great for Biden, but I tell you what, Trump's response to this was just the shit. The absolute shit. It was just the best thing I've ever fucking seen.
I shake hands, I hug people, I grab men and women by the shoulders and say, you can do this. And whether they're women, men, young, old, it's the way I've always been. It's the way I've tried to show I care about them and I'm listening.
All I'm saying is that Donald Trump is the shit poster in chief and an absolute mad lad. This is just such spice that Trump he's just throwing out the salts. This is just so good. I can't believe it, really. Like, it's hard to envisage this happening 5 years ago. Like, what's going to happen? Oh, Donald Trump's going to mock Joe Biden for being a serial sex pest, or at least an apparent one, from the weird way that he treats women, including like even women like Hillary Clinton, who there's a video of him like uncomfortably hugging her, and she's just like, okay, Joe, you know. And it's if even Hillary Clinton went on her campaign trail was being groped by Joe. I mean, the question is, who isn't? Who isn't? Well, I think the first people we can guess is the Krassensteins, because thank goodness someone pays them to be in Trump's mentions at every single time he tweets. This is how far the Republican Party has fallen. This is going to be good. The President of the United States is now sharing doctored videos. Are they, Ed? Are they doctored? Are they doctored videos, Ed? How could you tell? I mean, there might have been a few pixels, like, you know, in there or something. I couldn't quite tell. I mean, which part of it is it that you think is doctored? Is it the bit where he is inappropriately touching himself during his own apology video? Is that the part that you think's doctored, where he's sniffing his own hair? Is that the doctored part, Ed? I mean, it's a good thing that you're being paid to do this, really, because otherwise I would have had no idea. Millions of people would have been like, oh my God, Joe Biden is actually sniffing and sexually assaulting himself during his own apology video for doing precisely that thing. I mean, if you weren't around to tell people, no one would have known. It would have been a mystery. Thank God you and Brian are sat there like, Biden apologized for making a few women feel uncomfortable. Did he? Did he? Where was that apology? I didn't hear no apology, Brian. But Trump didn't apologize once to any of the 17 women who claim you sexually assaulted them. Instead, you bragged about grabbing their private parts. Well, then why are you coming begging for an apology? But, and obviously Ed replies with the circle jerk, and thankfully Kyle O'Neill heroically leaps in and tells the Krassen brothers that everyone's fucking sick of them.
The only social norm around that has changed is that men now listen to us when we say that out loud. That's the only social norm that's changed here. He didn't apologize. He didn't apologize to the women who he made uncomfortable. I thought that was really lacking, and it bothered me more because of, honestly, the way he's handled his role in the Anita Hill hearings, where he would say over and over again, I wish I could have done more. I wish I could have done something. He was in charge of those hearings. So he seems unwilling to take responsibility or discuss his own role in either of those cases. And I think that's what women are going to be waiting to hear from him.
I mean, Maria, there was no apology there.
Apparently, Joe Biden wouldn't even apologize for being an irrepressible perv when dealing with women in public in his very long political career. He just can't bring it to himself to apologize to all those women that he made feel uncomfortable. It's weird, you'd think he might, but since he won't, I guess we're just going to have to deal with the fact that the Democrat nominee is going to be a weird presidential pervert. To be honest with you though, Joe, I think we're done with old white men, are we not? Have we not had enough dealing with old white men? Do we need any more old white men in politics generally? Do you not think it's time to let someone else have a go, Joe? I mean, have you not been hoisted by your own petard enough yet? Do you really think you have a chance? If Hillary couldn't win, how could you possibly even... I mean, if Bernie couldn't win the Democratic nomination with the activists that he had behind him, how could you? How could you? You need to step down and let someone else do it. Time for old white men's over, Joe. Don't call it a grave. It's the future you chose.